Hello students, I am Omkar Deshpande, lecturer, Department of Commerce, KLS Gopte PU College of Commerce and Science. So today we are going to start with the importance of planning. I hope you people know about what is planning and what are the features of planning. Okay, now we'll cover the importance of planning. The first point says planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. If there were no planning, employees would be working in a different directions and organization would not be able to achieve a desired goal. So when it comes to the planning is an activity which enables a manager to look ahead and anticipate the changes. By deciding in advance the task to be performed, planning shows the way to deal with the changes and uncertainty event. Changes or event cannot be eliminated, but they can be anticipated and managerial response to them can be developed. Now this always says planning will always reduce the uncertainty, because whatever in future the problem will become, we cannot stop those problems, but whatever the problems come, which we can solve it when we take a well in advance the precautions. So that is what, but it always reduces the risk of uncertainty. Well in advance, if we plan correctly, then whatever when the problems come, that problem can be easily minimized with the help of planning what we have done it out. So this is how the planning is the thing which will reduce the risk of uncertainty. Second point says planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activity. Now planning serves as a basis of coordinating the activities and efforts of different divisions. It's always said that planning which will always gives us some directions. With the help of that direction, we will easily come to know how much resources we required, how much divisions we have to make. So everything clear picture which we can well in advance, we're going to analyze it. With the help of that, what happened, different divisions, department and individual, we will try to understand how much we required. According to that, we start working it out. Okay, it helps in avoiding confusion and misunderstanding. When we advancedly planned everything, when the practically implementation work starts, that time we may not get confusion or there cannot be misunderstanding between the employers between the workers or the employees in the organization. Since the planning ensure clarity in thought, we will able to understand the clarity of thought. Who is the particular person, who has to do what kind of a thing, clearly we are going to understand it out. Okay, and actions work is carried on smoothly without interpretation. Without any problem, the work can be managed systematically. Unless and redundant activities are minimized or eliminated. See, the future, what the problems are that we cannot stop those problems, but we can eliminate what are the things are there, unwanted things are there, many things were there in organization which wasteful things will be taking place. We can reduce it. For example, I can give one example for that. Suppose for example, when we are planning to produce 100 units, well in advance, if we plan correctly, how many people are required, what are the materials are required, everything we have recorded. That if we work, we cannot waste the time, and that's what we cannot waste the resources also. So we can easily manage the things. Okay, that's what are the waste things are that we can easily eliminate with the help of planning. It is the eraser to detect inefficiency and take collective measures to deal with them. Whatever the collective measures are there which we can take, and we try to manage the things. So this is what the planning helps ensure in overlapping and wasteful activity. And third point says planning promote innovative ideas. It's always says planning always promote the innovative ideas. When group of people they sit together, they go on planning each and everything, that means definitely new ideas will come into the picture, and that ideas which they can implement it out. So this is what our planning always, it promotes the innovative ideas. Since planning is the first function of management, new ideas can take the shape of concerned plan. It is the most challenging activity for the management as it guides all the future action leading to growth and prosperity of the business. So whatever the plannings are, it always create good ideas. Okay, that's just when they sit group together and they started discussing out, many new ideas will come into the picture, among that which they can select and they can apply it. So this is what planning always create innovative ideas, and this innovative ideas will definitely help for a business to get a success in the organization. Planning facilitates decision making. Okay, planning always helps in making good decisions, because well in advance we are going to analyze the things in future or forecast what the things in future is going to happen, or if it comes how we are going to manage. So it's well in advance when we plan it everything. That means whatever while taking the decision it may not get difficult. We will try to understand the future, current as well as the past scenario, what other things are there. That will help us to take a good decisions. Planning helps the manager to look into the future and make a choice from among the various alternative course of action. When we see the future, if suppose these things happen, how to solve this? To solve that, how many alternative things are there? We can easily analyze those things. The manager has to evaluate each alternative. Now here the manager will get the time to analyze each alternative, because each alternative will be having their advantages and disadvantages. Easily we can understand which alternative is the best and select the most valuable proportion. Planning involves setting targets and predicting the future conditions, thus helping in taking the rational decision. When we analyze the future, it helps us to take a good decision with the help of planning. So that is what planning always helps in decision making. And planning establishes the standards for controlling. If you see the standards of controlling, first we are going to set the standards. According to that, we see the actual performance of the employees in the organization. When we compare the standard with actual performance, we will come to know what are the measures are there, whether they have reached it or they have not reached it. With the help of that, what happened, we can take the collective actions on them, or we can work it out. If it is reached, what will be the next? If it is not reached, where we went wrong. So everything these we can analyze it. So with the help of this, what happened, planning will definitely help us to set a proper standards in the organization. Planning provides the goals or standard against which actual performance with some standards. Already standards are set and our actual performance will be this. It is both, we can compare it. A manager can know whether they are actually been attained the goal, whether we actually what we have set the standard, they have reached it or not. We will able to understand. If reached, what will be the next? If it does not reach it, what we have to do? So these are the things which we can, collective actions can be taken with the help of planning. So next we move on to the limitations of planning. If you see the limitations of planning, the first point says planning leads to rigidity. See, when it comes to the planning, it leads to rigidity means we plan it everything, but suddenly if anything changes comes into business, it becomes very difficult to overcome it out. So suddenly what we will immediately, when we see the situation, we start changing the things that may lead to rigidity. So this is what about what limitations of planning. Okay, in an organization, well-defined plan is drawn up with specific goals to be achieved within a specific period of time. Well in advance we will set a goal, how to achieve that goal, whether we are going to plan in the initial stage. But these plans then decide the future course of action and manager may not be in position to change it. So if suddenly in between, if anything comes, manager is not in position to change the particular thing what he has decided it. This kind of rigidity in plans may create difficult manager to need to be given some flexibility to able to cope up with the changed circumstances. This will become a little bit difficult for him to, because already everything is set, but when a certain situation comes, it becomes difficult to change that time. So that time it will lead to rigidity. Okay, so that is what some flexibility should be given so that they can manage the things easily. And second one is planning may not work in a dynamic environment. Especially when it comes to dynamic environment, there are some external factors are there which you have learnt in the business environment topic, which are uncontrollable in nature. Suddenly if that comes, if external factors which they start impacting the business, it becomes very difficult to manage the things. There the planning may not work it out. Okay, so this is what about planning may not work in a dynamic organization. Especially the big organizations are there, when external factors directly it is getting impacted towards it, it becomes very difficult to change and manage during that period of time what the actually it is planning is set it out. Okay, so the business environment is a dynamic, nothing is constant, as even you know business itself is not a constant, it keeps on changing. The environment consists of number of dimensions. If you see the dimensions, you know about economic, political, physical, legal and social dimensions. The organization has to constantly adapt itself to change. Now every organization, they have to adopt whatever these changes will taking place in the organization. It becomes difficult to accurately assess the future trend in the environment if economic policies are modified or political conditions in a country are not stable on, or there is a natural calamities. This is very important. If suddenly change taking place in economical condition or political system, or any natural calamities have come, that natural calamity which has taken place, so these are the things, if it comes, it becomes very difficult to manage the activity. And presently which we are seeing in a COVID-19, what the situation is going on. Okay, if suddenly these kind of a things come, it become very difficult. What we have set the plan, according to that plan, it may not work in the present scenario. So this is what about key external factors which they are going to impacting it. Competition in the market can also upset the financial plan. Sale target may have to be revised accordingly. Cash budget also need to be modified since they are based on the sale figures. So once they have planned it everything that this much they are going to achieve it, but suddenly if anything externally factors affecting the business, that time sale is going to reduce, again financial system we need to change it out. So this is how these may not work in a planning, sometimes may not work in a dynamic environment. Third one, planning reduce the creativity. Now here what happened, sometimes planning may lead to reduce the creativity. Why it reduce the creativity? Because planning is an activity which is done by the top management. Top level management people are there, they are going to set the rules and regulation, where usually rest of the members just implement these plans. Just of people like middle level and lower, they started following it out. As a consequence, middle management and other decision makers are neither allowed to divert from the plan, nor they are permitted to act on their own. This is very important. See, top level management, they are going to frame the policies. Middle level, lower level, exactly what the thing is said, they have to follow it. Now they don't have power to change this kind of a things. Thus much of the initiative or creativity inherent in them also get lost or reduced. Most of the time employees do not even attempt to formulate the plans. Now if middle level and lower level people, they have the ideas, but it become very difficult for them to express it out due to their position, they cannot take part in the decision making. So this is how sometimes their what are their ideas, are their creativity, it may be lost. Okay, thus planning is a way to reduce creativity, since people tend to think along the same line as others. There is nothing new or initiative. So this is how the planning sometimes it reduces the creativity. And fourth point is, planning involves huge cost. It is not easy, because when we all together we started planning, we need to collect lot of information which is not freely available, the first thing. And second thing is about, it is some kind of a time consuming also, it will be there. So that time also it will take a lot of time. That is also one factor is there. Another one factor, when we are planning it out, we need to take the advice of expert people. Now that is not a free, again we have to pay them the fees whatever it is there. So like that what happened, planning itself required huge cost. Sometimes it so happens what we have amount invested in the planning is much more higher than what we have earned in the business. So this is how sometimes it happens. Okay, so planning it involves huge cost. When plans are drawn up, huge costs are involved in the formulation. There may be in terms of time and money. For example, checking accuracy of fact of many involve lot of time. Detailed plan requires scientific calculations to ascertain the facts and figures. Whatever the information which we have collected, we need to analyze it and we need to find out the fact and figures. Now for this we need to spend a lot of cost. Cost is involved. Sometimes it may not be justifying the benefit derived from the plan. Whatever with this plan we'll get a benefit, that will be the future, but currently we have to spend it out. Sometimes whatever we have spent, that much we may not get also. This also things may happen. Okay, these are number of incidental cost as well, like expenses or boardroom meeting. Now this don't to conduct the meetings, separate rooms will be there where we need to spend it out. Discussion with a professional expert, when professional expert are there, we need to pay them the fees. And preliminary investigation to find out the visibility of the plan. It's preliminary investigation, for that we have to spend. So this is what about overall conclusion says, that if we planning which involves a huge cost. And fifth one is, planning is a time consuming process. Yeah, it is a time consuming process, because lot of time which we need to spend on planning the things. Okay, sometimes implementation will become sometime it may not much time left for the implementation. To actually to implement it we get a less time, but when we go on a planning, it time consuming will be more. So sometimes plan to be a drawn up take so much of time that there is not much time left. Okay, so we go on planning and we go on discussing. So this more time here it takes for planning itself rather than what we are going for implementation. Sometime it may happen for that implementation. Okay, so this is what about the limitations of planning. These are points, but even there are other points also that like planning may not give the guarantee of success. Sometimes where we can tell whatever we have planned it out, ये this will get success. हमने अच्छे से प्लान किया है, ये प्लान सक्सेस होता है, ऐसे क्या गारंटी तो हम दे नहीं सकते. So this is how the things are. The many other points also which your own points which you can write it during this limitations of planning. Okay, thank you.